From the beginning, my life was dictated by forces beyond my control. My father was a man of power and intimidation, controlling, unforgiving, and impossible to please. My mother was the opposite, a woman of warmth and love, but lost in her own world. When they divorced, everything changed. I was only 6 years old, far too young to understand that my childhood had ended before it even had a chance to begin. Before the divorce was finalized, my brother and I were shuffled between two different realities. At my mother's, we were wrapped in love, but left in uncertainty. She kissed our hearts, held our hands, but when night fell, she was gone, off to chase whatever happiness she couldn't find at home. We were left in the care of my uncle, a man whose lifestyle I was too young to understand. One night, when I got up to use the bathroom, I heard noises from his room. What I saw when I opened the door left me shaken. I didn't understand what was happening, only that it scared me. I ran, crying, searching for my mother. But she wasn't there. It was my brother who held me, my brother who promised to protect me. That night, something shifted between us. He became my shield, my protector against a world I was just beginning to see for what it truly was. The next morning, when we returned to my father's house, he asked if we had fun. I was young, naive, and still searching for comfort, so I told him what I had seen. I thought he would make sense of it for me. Instead, that moment sealed our fate. My father used my words as a weapon, twisting the truth into something dark and cruel. The fallout from that single confession shattered what little freedom we had with our mother. He took control, and in his hands, my life became something unrecognizable. Once the divorce was finalized, we went from riches to rags. My father, still in love with my mother despite her rejection, made sure that he was the one granted custody. He justified it in every way, manipulated the system, and in the end, he won. That's when I stopped being a little girl. I became the caretaker, the cook, the cleaner. I could barely reach over the sink, yet I was responsible for making meals, washing dishes, vacuuming the floors, and keeping everything in order. There were no bedtime stories, no moments of tenderness. Instead, I was fed stories of my mother's failures, used as a pawn in a game I never agreed to play. Then came my stepmother. My father met her through my aunt, and for her, he was nothing less than a golden ticket, a way out of the poverty and struggle she had known. Within 2 years, they were married, and my world became even smaller. She was cruel, manipulative, and resentful of me from the start. She did everything she could to tear me down, sabotaging my efforts, making sure I felt like I was never enough. At school, life wasn't any easier. By the time I reached the 5th grade, I was already 5'9", wearing a size 11 shoe and built like a linebacker. I was an easy target for cruel words and laughter. My clothes never fit quite right, my hair was unstyled, and I had no one to guide me through the awkwardness of growing up. The other kids tormented me relentlessly, making up songs about my appearance, mocking me for the things I couldn't change. One day, the teasing reached a new level. My shoes, which had been worn down to the point of falling apart, became the subject of a cruel joke. My classmates created a jingle, chanting and laughing as my torn shoes became the center of attention. When a boy ripped one off my foot and threw it across the room, the humiliation was unbearable. I ran from the room, hiding in the bathroom, waiting for the day to end. When I got home, still shaken, I told my father what had happened. I thought maybe, just maybe, he would understand. Instead, I was met with anger. He didn't care that I had been humiliated, only that I had lost control of the situation. His solution wasn't comfort, it was punishment. He grabbed his belt and beat me, not because I'd been bullied, but because I hadn't fought back. In his eyes, weakness was the greatest failure of all. That night, as I showered, I saw his shotgun in the closet. Something inside me snapped. Without thinking, I picked it up, pulled back the hammer, and placed it in my mouth. I pulled the trigger. The gun never fired. The next morning, my father had taken the gun apart, spreading its pieces across the kitchen table. My stomach twisted as I realized he knew. When I asked him why the gun was in pieces, he simply said, "Someone's been messing with my gun. And when I find out who, there'll be hell to pay." My secret remained safe, but I had found a new escape. If I couldn't disappear completely, I would take control in other ways. First, it was food. My father forced us to eat everything on our plates, no matter how full we were. If we didn't finish, the same food would be waiting for us at the next meal. At my mother's, things were different. She saw my growing body and told me I was getting too fat. Then she taught me how to get rid of it. Purging became my secret weapon. Binge, purge, count calories, starve. It gave me control in a world where I had none. And when that wasn't enough, I found the blade. It started small, just shaving my legs too deep. But soon I needed more. I experimented in finding the right places to cut, the right ways to make the pain disappear, at least for a little while. The secret became everything. As long as I could hide it, as long as no one knew, I was still in control. Eventually, my stepmother discovered what I was doing. Instead of helping, she ran to my father. The punishment was swift, a black eye and another beating. No comfort, no understanding, just more pain. But even through all of this, I survived. Despite the cruelty, despite the loneliness, despite the nights where I thought I wouldn't make it to morning, I survived. Because deep down, under all the pain, the scars, the broken pieces, I was still here. And I refused to let them win. I am Heather. I am unbroken.